I stood in my son's driveway, my hands shaking as I gripped the steering wheel. The California sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink, but I barely noticed. My best friend Thomas had just been buried that morning, and the envelope the attorney handed me was still sitting on the passenger seat. Before I tell you what was inside that envelope and what I overheard when I walked through that front door, let me ask you something. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, if you've ever wondered whether the people you raised actually care about you, hit that subscribe button, because what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about my son and his wife. I'm Robert Chen. I'm 68 years old, and up until 6 months ago, I thought I had a pretty good life. I'd been a high school math teacher for 40 years in San Diego. My wife, Linda, passed away 3 years ago from breast cancer. And when she died, our house went to our son David because her name was the only one on the deed. Long story involving a refinance and my bad credit from a business venture that failed. The lawyers said it was cleaner that way. I didn't think much of it at the time. David seemed genuinely sad when his mother died. He told me I could live with him and his wife Amanda for as long as I needed. Their house in Carlsbad was big enough, he said. They had a guest room. It would be fine. For the first few months, it was fine. Amanda was polite. She'd ask how I was doing. David and I would watch baseball together on weekends. But then, something shifted. I'm still not sure exactly when it happened, but Amanda started making comments. Little things at first. Bob, did you finish the milk again? David needs that for his protein shakes. Bob, could you maybe shower before 10 a.m.? The humidity affects my hair routine. Bob, we're having friends over Friday, so maybe you could eat dinner in your room? My room. That's what the guest room became. Except it stopped being a guest room around month 4. Amanda decided they needed the guest room for her home office. She was a real estate agent, very successful, always closing deals. She needed the space for staging photos and virtual meetings. So I got moved to the converted garage. They called it a bonus room, but there was no heat, no proper insulation. Just a thin carpet over concrete, a futon that hurt my back, and a small space heater that Amanda said I could only run for 2 hours a day because of the electric bill. This is where I spent the last 6 months, in a garage in coastal California, shivering under 2 blankets, listening to my son and daughter-in-law live their lives in the main house. The food situation got worse too. Amanda started doing this thing where she'd make exactly enough dinner for 2 people. She'd text David what time to come home, and they'd eat together at 6:30. By the time I'd come in from the garage around 7, the kitchen would be cleaned, leftovers put away in containers labeled with their names. I started buying my own groceries, but Amanda complained about refrigerator space. So I kept a small cooler in the garage with some cheese, bread, and fruit. I ate a lot of peanut butter sandwiches. I lost 15 pounds. David never seemed to notice. Or maybe he did and just didn't say anything. He was always busy with work. He managed a tech startup in La Jolla, something to do with AI software. He'd leave at 7 in the morning and come home at 7 at night. Amanda made sure of that schedule. I tried to talk to him once. It was a Sunday, and I caught him alone in the backyard. Son, I was thinking maybe I should look for a small apartment. I don't want to be a burden here. He looked uncomfortable. Dad, you're not a burden. Amanda just likes things organized a certain way. You know how she is. I'm sleeping in a garage, David. It's 45 degrees at night. I'll talk to her about getting you a better heater. He never did. The breaking point came 2 months ago. I fell in the garage, tripped over an extension cord in the dark, banged my head pretty good on the concrete floor. I laid there for probably 20 minutes before I could get up, dizzy and nauseous. I managed to make it to the main house and knocked on the door. Amanda opened it in her bathrobe, annoyed. Bob, it's 11 p.m. What's wrong? I fell. I think I might have a concussion. I feel really dizzy, she sighed. Do you need to go to the ER? I don't know. Maybe someone should just keep an eye on me tonight. David has a big presentation tomorrow. He needs his sleep. Do you have insurance? Medicare. Okay. Well, if you're really worried, you can call an Uber to the ER. But honestly, Bob, you look fine to me. Maybe just sleep sitting up tonight. She closed the door. I went back to the garage and sat on the futon all night, terrified I might not wake up if I fell asleep. I didn't tell David. What was the point? But Thomas knew. Thomas had been my best friend since college. We'd taught at the same high school for 30 years, retired the same year. We'd grab coffee every Wednesday morning at this place in Ocean Beach. He knew everything about my situation. "Rob, you can't keep living like this," he'd say. "Come stay with me. I've got that extra bedroom since Marie moved to Portland." "I can't abandon my son, Tom. Your son abandoned you first, buddy." But I couldn't do it. Some part of me kept thinking David would wake up one day and remember that I was his father, that I'd coached his little league team, that I'd paid for his college, that I'd sat with him in the hospital when he had his appendix out at age 12. Then 3 weeks ago, Thomas had a heart attack. Massive. He was dead before the ambulance arrived. I was devastated. He was 72, but he'd seemed so healthy. We'd gone hiking in Torrey Pines just 2 weeks before. The funeral was yesterday morning. Small service, just some former colleagues and his daughter Marie who flew in from Oregon. I sat in the back, crying quietly. I'd lost my best friend, the only person who seemed to actually care whether I lived or died. After the service, Thomas's attorney pulled me aside. His name was Roger Chen, no relation, despite the same last name. "Mr. Chen, I need to speak with you privately." Thomas left specific instructions. We went to his office in downtown San Diego. Roger closed the door and pulled out a file. "Thomas updated his will 6 months ago. He named you as his primary beneficiary." I was stunned. "What? What about Marie?" "Marie is very well taken care of through her mother's estate. Thomas wanted to make sure you were taken care of too. He was quite insistent about it. Actually, said you were too stubborn to accept help while he was alive, so he'd have to help you after he was gone." Roger slid a document across the desk. Thomas owned a software consulting company that he sold 10 years ago. He'd been living off the proceeds and investments. The total value of his estate is approximately $22 million. You're inheriting $15 million of it. The other 7 is split between Marie and various charities. I couldn't speak. $15 million. I'd spent the last 6 months eating peanut butter sandwiches in a freezing garage, and my best friend had $15 million he was leaving to me. "There's more," Roger continued. He also owned 3 rental properties in San Diego, all paid off. They generate about $12,000 a month in income. He's leaving those to you as well. And there's a beach condo in Coronado that he wanted you to have. He said you always loved the beach. The Coronado condo. I remembered it. Thomas had bought it 5 years ago. 3 bedrooms, ocean view, worth at least $2 million on its own. "Mr. Chen, I need you to understand that this inheritance is legally binding and irrevocable." Thomas was very specific. He said, and I quote, "Make sure Robert knows he doesn't owe anyone anything. This money is his to use however he sees fit, and he should tell anyone who has a problem with that to go to hell." I laughed, despite myself. That sounded like Thomas. "When can I access the funds?" "The estate needs to go through probate." But Thomas set up a living trust specifically to avoid delays. "You should have access to the liquid assets within 2 weeks. The properties will take about 30 days to transfer." I drove back to Carlsbad in a daze. $15 million, 3 rental properties, a beach condo. I could leave today. I could check into a hotel right now and never sleep in that garage again. But something made me pause. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was pride. But I wanted to see something first. I wanted to see what David and Amanda would do when they found out. Would they be happy for me? Would they apologize for how they'd treated me? Would Amanda suddenly become kind now that I wasn't poor and pathetic? I had to know. I pulled into the driveway around 4 p.m. David's car was already there, which was unusual. He never got home before 7. Amanda's Mercedes was there too. I sat in my car for a moment, trying to decide what to say. Should I tell them everything? Should I just tell them about Thomas dying and leave out the inheritance? Before I could decide, I heard voices, loud voices. They were arguing in the kitchen, and the window was open. I got out of my car quietly and moved closer to the side of the house. "We can't wait any longer, David. Your father is bleeding us dry." That was Amanda's voice. He buys his own food now. What are you talking about? The utilities. Do you know how much that space heater costs to run? And he takes 30-minute showers. Our water bill is insane. Amanda, he's my father. He's a burden. And honestly, he's not going to get any better. He's almost 70. What happens when he really gets sick? When he needs actual care? We'll be stuck with him forever. My hands were shaking. I pressed myself against the wall, listening. What do you want me to do? Sunny Meadows, the assisted living place in Escondido. I already called them. They have an opening. Medicare will cover most of it, and whatever it doesn't, we can use his Social Security to pay. He gets like $1,800 a month, right? I think so. Perfect. That'll cover the difference. We need to do this now, before he gets too comfortable. I need an office that's not in the house. There was a long pause. I held my breath. When? David asked quietly. Next week. I made an appointment for us to tour the facility on Tuesday. We'll tell him it's just a visit, to check out options for the future. Then we'll just leave him there. They said it happens all the time. Family members drop off elderly relatives and don't come back. Amanda, I don't know if I can do that. David. Her voice turned sharp. Your father is not your responsibility anymore. You gave him a place to stay after your mom died. You've done your duty. But we have our own lives to live. We're trying for a baby, remember? We can't have a senile old man shuffling around while we're raising a child. Senile? I wasn't senile. I had all my faculties. I just didn't matter to them. He's not senile, David said weakly. He will be soon enough. They all get that way. My grandmother was the same. One day she's fine. The next she's forgetting where she is. We're being proactive. It's the responsible thing to do. I heard footsteps. They were moving toward the living room. I quickly walked back to my car, got in, and just sat there. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might have my own heart attack. They were going to dump me in a nursing home. Not because I needed care, not because I was sick, but because I was inconvenient. That's when I made my decision. I wasn't going to tell them about the inheritance. Not yet. I was going to let this play out. I was going to see exactly how far they'd go, and then I was going to show them who they'd really been talking to. I walked into the house a few minutes later, making sure to seem tired and sad. Amanda was in the kitchen, and she turned with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Bob, how was the funeral? Sad. Thomas was a good man. I'm sure he was. Did he have much family? Just his daughter. She lives in Oregon. Well, these things are hard. Are you hungry? I made chicken, but we already ate. There might be some rice left. That's okay. I'm not very hungry. David came in from the living room. Hey, Dad. Sorry about your friend. Thanks, son. He looked uncomfortable, like he wanted to say something but couldn't. I wondered if he felt guilty. I hoped he did. Dad, actually, Amanda and I wanted to talk to you about something. Here it comes. We've been thinking about the future, about long-term plans. You're getting older, and we want to make sure you have the best care possible. I'm fine, David. I'm 68, not 90. I know. But we found this really nice place in Escondido. Assisted living. Beautiful facility. We thought maybe we could take a tour on Tuesday, just to see what's out there. For future reference. Amanda jumped in. It's supposed to be amazing. They have activities, group meals, medical staff on site 24/7. Much better than being isolated in the GAR in the bonus room. I looked at both of them. My son, who couldn't meet my eyes. My daughter-in-law, who was already mentally redecorating my living space. Sure, I said. We can take a tour. Amanda's face lit up. Wonderful. I'll confirm our appointment. I went back to the garage and sat on the futon. I pulled out my phone and called Roger Chen. Roger, it's Robert. I need you to do something for me, and I need you to do it quietly. For the next week, I played my part perfectly. I shuffled a little more when I walked. I forgot things occasionally. Where did I put my glasses? What day is it? I even called David Daniel once by accident. Amanda ate it up. I could see her mentally tallying up my declining competence, justifying what she was about to do. Tuesday came. We drove to Sunny Meadows in David's car. Amanda kept up a cheerful commentary the whole way. "You're going to love this place, Bob. They have a garden. And movie nights. You love movies, right?" The facility was actually nice. Clean. Well-maintained. The director, a woman named Susan, gave us the tour. Private rooms, communal dining, activities schedule. It looked like a nice place to slowly wait to die. "And what's the monthly cost?" David asked. "For the level of care your father would need, approximately $4,500 a month. Medicare covers some of it, but there's usually a gap of about $2,000 that families need to cover." I watched Amanda's face fall. $2,000 was more than they'd planned. "But his Social Security," she started. "Social Security is typically around $1,800 for someone of his age and work history. So you'd be looking at supplementing about $500 a month out of pocket." Amanda and David exchanged looks. I could see them calculating. $500 a month for how many years? What if I live to be 90? "We'll need to discuss this," David said. On the drive back, Amanda was quiet. Angry quiet. The math wasn't working out the way she'd wanted. That night, I heard them arguing again. "We can't afford $500 a month, David. Not with the house payments and my car and the credit cards. Then we don't do it. We have to do something. I can't live like this anymore with him here." "Then what do you suggest?" There was a long pause. "What if we just stopped supporting him? Made it uncomfortable enough that he'd leave on his own? He already has nothing, Amanda. What more can we take away? His food privileges, the heater, the shower access. If he doesn't like it, he can find somewhere else to go." My son said nothing, which was the same as saying yes. The next day, I found the lock on the bathroom had been changed. There was a note. "Please use the bathroom at the community center down the street. Water conservation." The community center was a mile away. I was 78 years old in their eyes, senile and weak. But I walked that mile. I showered in a public facility, with strangers, and I came back and said nothing. The space heater disappeared 2 days later. My food started disappearing from my cooler. And through it all, I watched my son avoid eye contact. This went on for another week. Roger called me every day. "Robert, the funds are ready. The properties have been transferred. You can leave right now." "Not yet," I kept saying. "Not yet." I wanted them to show me everything. I wanted to see how far they'd really go. Then came the day Amanda went too far. I came back from the community center after showering and found the garage door padlocked from the outside. My belongings were in trash bags on the driveway. Amanda was standing there with her arms crossed. "Bob, we've decided this isn't working out. We need you to find other arrangements." "You're kicking me out?" "We're asking you to be independent. You're a grown man. You can figure it out." David pulled up right at that moment. He saw the scene. The trash bags. Me standing there. "Amanda, what the hell?" "We discussed this, David. We discussed asking him to look for a place. Not throwing him out on the street. It's the same thing. He needs motivation." They argued for 15 minutes while I stood there, invisible again. Finally, David turned to me. "Dad, I'm sorry. Can you stay with someone for a few days while we figure this out?" I could have told them then. I could have dropped the bomb right there in the driveway, but something made me wait just a little longer. "I'll call someone," I said quietly. I loaded my trash bags into my car and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I could see Amanda already on her phone, probably calling her contractor about the she shed. I checked into a hotel in Coronado. Not the condo yet. That would have raised questions if anyone saw me. Just a nice hotel room with a real bed and heat, and a private bathroom. And I made some calls. First, to Roger. "It's time." Second, to a friend from my teaching days, who was now a private investigator. "I need you to look into something." It turned out Amanda had been doing more than just being cruel. She'd been forging my signature on documents. The private investigator found that she'd tried to add herself as a joint owner on my pension account. She'd applied for credit cards in my name. She'd even filed a power of attorney document with the county. claiming I was mentally incompetent. All of it was fraud. All of it was prosecutable. But I didn't want to send my son's wife to jail. I just wanted justice. Roger helped me set up something better. 2 weeks after they kicked me out, David got a letter. It was from the bank, informing him that his house had been sold to a new owner. The new owner was exercising their right to terminate his tenancy. He had 30 days to vacate. I'd bought his house, the one that should have been mine anyway, the one Linda had put in David's name. I paid cash, $750,000, above market value, just to make sure the bank moved quickly. David called me, panicked. "Dad, someone bought our house. I don't understand what's happening." "That's terrible, son. Have you tried calling the new owner? It's some LLC. I can't get through to anyone." "Dad, we don't have anywhere to go. Can we stay with you?" "Stay with me?" "Son, I'm homeless. You kicked me out, remember?" Silence. "Dad, I'm sorry about that. Amanda was just stressed. We were going to call you, to work something out." "Were you?" "Yes, of course. You're my father. We'd never actually leave you on the street." "You already did, David." More silence. "Who bought our house, Dad?" "I did. I let that sink in." "You." "What?" "I inherited $15 million from Thomas, plus 3 rental properties and a beach condo. I've been financially secure for 3 weeks now. I just wanted to see what you'd do, how far you'd really go." I could hear him breathing on the other end. "And now I know. You were willing to dump me in a nursing home. Your wife was willing to forge legal documents in my name. You were both willing to let me shower at a community center and sleep in a freezing garage. Dad, if you'd known I had money, you would have treated me differently." "That's exactly the point, David. What are you going to do? You have 30 days to find a new place to live. I'm moving into my house, the one your mother and I bought together. The one that should have been mine all along. You're seriously kicking us out?" "You kicked me out first. I'm just returning the favor." I hung up. Amanda called 5 minutes later, screaming about lawsuits and elder abuse and how I was a terrible person. I let her rant until she ran out of steam. Then I said, "Amanda, the private investigator has copies of all the documents you forged. The fraudulent power of attorney, the credit card applications, the attempted theft of my pension. I could have you arrested right now. I'm choosing not to, because David is my son, and I don't want to hurt him that way. But if you ever contact me again, if you ever come near me or my property, I will file charges. Do you understand?" She hung up. The next 30 days were quiet. I moved into the Coronado condo and started working with a financial advisor to manage the inheritance properly. I set up a charitable foundation in Thomas's name to help retired teachers who were struggling financially. I made sure Marie got an extra $1 million from my inheritance, since her father had been so generous to me. And I thought a lot about what had happened. About David. He'd failed me. There was no getting around that. But Amanda had manipulated him too. The investigator found emails showing how she'd slowly poisoned David against me, making him feel guilty for supporting me, convincing him I was more capable than I appeared. David had been weak. But he wasn't evil. Not like Amanda. On day 29, David called. "Dad, can we talk? In person?" "Why?" "Because I want to apologize. Really, apologize. Without Amanda around." We met at a coffee shop in Ocean Beach, the same place Thomas and I used to meet every Wednesday. David looked terrible. He'd lost weight. His eyes were red. "Amanda left me," he said. "She found out about the fraud investigation. She's claiming she was trying to protect me from you, that you were going senile and she was trying to safeguard our future. She's staying with her sister in Arizona." "I'm sorry," I said. And surprisingly, I meant it. "I'm not. I've been doing a lot of thinking, Dad, about how I treated you, about how I let her treat you. I don't have an excuse. I was a coward." "Yes, you were." He nodded, accepting it. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I can forgive myself. But I needed you to know that I see it now. I see what I did, what I failed to do. We sat in silence for a while. I'm not giving you the house back, I said finally. I know. I don't expect you to, but I'm going to do something else. I slid an envelope across the table. Inside was information about a job opening at a school in Oregon, where they needed a tech program director, and a check for $50,000. What is this? Thomas taught me something. He helped people by giving them opportunities, not handouts. That job is real. Marie helped me set it up. Turns out she's on the school board in Portland. It's a good job, good pay, fresh start. The check is for moving expenses and to help you get settled. Dad, I can't accept this. You can and you will. Because you're going to take that job, you're going to rebuild your life, and you're going to become the man I thought I raised. The man you should have been. David started crying. Right there in the coffee shop, my 65-year-old son cried like a child. I'm so sorry, Dad. I know. Now go fix it. He took the job. Last I heard, he's doing well. He sends me emails sometimes, updates on his life. He's in therapy. He's dating someone new, someone kind. He's becoming a better person. Amanda tried to sue me for half the house value, claiming she'd contributed to mortgage payments. The lawsuit went nowhere. She moved to Arizona permanently. I live in Coronado now. In the condo Thomas left me, I can see the ocean from my bedroom window. I have heat. I have food. I have dignity. But more than that, I learned something important. I don't need to set myself on fire to keep other people warm. I don't need to accept cruelty in the name of family. I don't need to make myself small so others can feel big. Thomas knew that. That's why he left me everything. Not because he thought I needed to be rich, but because he wanted me to know I had value, that I deserved better than a freezing garage and peanut butter sandwiches. I visit his grave every Wednesday morning. I tell him about the foundation, about the teachers we've helped, about David's progress, about my life, and I thank him for being a better friend than I had any right to expect, for seeing me when my own son couldn't, for giving me not just money, but the chance to reclaim my dignity. The revenge was sweet, I won't lie. Watching Amanda's face when she realized she'd tormented a millionaire, thinking he was helpless. Watching David realize what he'd lost. But the real victory wasn't the revenge. It was realizing I didn't need them to value me. I could value myself. That's what I'd tell anyone going through something similar. Don't wait for people to see your worth. Don't destroy yourself trying to prove you deserve basic human kindness. Know your value, and if the people around you can't see it, find new people, or just be alone. Being alone with your dignity is better than being surrounded by people who make you feel worthless. Thomas knew that. Now I know it too, and that's worth more than $15 million. Though I'll admit, the $15 million doesn't hurt.